All right, so continuing the underlying principles of 133. The first we talked a little bit about measure and distancing, and then being able to protect yourself in that distance, and why we need to have a buckler, because we need to be able to protect our hand. Because when we're fighting someone with any kind of weapon, that weapon's going to be predominantly out, right? So why the weapon has to be predominantly out is because it provides me some defense, like this, right? So I can defend against anything coming in. Plus, it's not putting my body forward and puts my weapon into attack immediately, right? So I can immediately start to hit and attack people with my weapon. Now the problem with that in a sword like this is my hand's completely exposed. So if they want to target simply my hand's going to take a lot of abuse before I can do much, and I'd be in a bad way. The buckler allows me to protect that. So along with this same idea is the idea that as soon as someone comes into measure, if they're open, I should attack them, right? So if he's just standing there, right? This guy's just standing there. And we're here, so right now he's in measure, meaning I can step in and I can hit him, boom, in one shot. Then I should attack him. Now the reason I should attack him is because that means he is also in measure, right? So if I can attack him, he can attack me. So if I delay, he's gonna attack me first. That puts me behind him, right? So if you look at modern terms of talking about this stuff, we talk about OODA loops and who's observing, orienting, deciding, and acting first, right? So who's got the better set of timing? If I allow him to act first, then I'm always responding to him. It's hard to turn the tide. If he's always acting first, then it's easier for me to keep him responding to me, which is what I want, right? So anytime someone is in measure, you should attack them. And this is illustrated several times in 133. That means that Josh, the second he realizes that he is in measure and can be attacked, he should cover that in some way, right? I-33 talks about this as fall under sword and shield. We're going to give an example of that. So there, he just fell under sword and shield. The way he did that might be looked at in 133 as crook, right? So this is the idea of crook. Any time that he is under his sword and shield, doesn't matter where that shield and sword are, as long as he's underneath them, then he's fallen under sword and shield, right? So that's what he wants to do. That's basically what we call covering in modern martial arts, right? So, you know, if you're boxing with someone and you're in range, you'll hear boxers say, keep your hands up. Keep your hands up means cover yourself, because you are in measure for them to possibly hit you. Their hands move way faster than anything else. So if you don't already have your hands in position to defend yourself, it's likely they're going to get a shot in. So in 133, they talk about the second that you're in there, he should fall under sword and shield, right? So this will lead us to the first play in 133, and we'll talk about these principles and why they're really important in this first play. And the first play of I-33, which is the first practice, you know, if you were doing modern martial arts, or if you're doing Japanese martial arts, you'd call it kata, or maybe you'd call it a form, right? So a standardized practice. This first practice is going to teach us a lot about these principles, and honestly lays out most of what I-33 is in the first few plays. So we're going to talk about those next.